Hey everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we're knee-deep in sawdust and hydraulic fluid, diving headfirst into the fascinating world of logging. It's tough, it's gritty, and it takes a special kind of person to do it. Over the years, loggers have gone from axes and crosscut saws to machines that could lift a small car, and all of it designed to make this essential industry safer and more efficient. We're talking about inventions that have revolutionized the way we harvest and process timber. Let's get to work. First up, we gotta start with the tool that changed the game forever, the chainsaw. Before this bad boy came along, felling trees was back-breaking work, usually done with axes and crosscut saws. The chainsaw, invented back in the early 1900s, took that grueling process and turned it on its head. Suddenly loggers had a tool that could rip through trees like a hot knife through butter. We're talking about a massive increase in speed and efficiency. And let's be honest, there's just something viscerally satisfying about a chainsaw, right? The roar of that engine, the smell of two-stroke in the air, the way it chews through wood. It's a symphony of power and precision, and it's no wonder this tool became an icon, not just in the logging industry but in pop culture as well. In the hands of a skilled logger, it's a thing of beauty. Now hold on to your hard hats, folks, because things are about to get really interesting. Imagine a machine so big, so powerful, that it can cut down a tree, grab it in its jaws, and neatly lay it down without breaking a sweat. You're picturing the feller buncher, my friends, and it's a sight to behold. This beast of a machine is basically a hybrid monster truck excavator chainsaw on steroids. It's got these massive articulated arms that end in a cutting head that could make mincemeat of a redwood. And it doesn't just cut the trees down, oh no, it grabs them with its hydraulic claws and gently lowers them to the ground, ready for the next step. Talk about efficiency. This thing can clear an area faster than you can say timber. The operator sits up in this climate-controlled cab, using joysticks and levers to maneuver this behemoth with incredible precision. So we've got our trees on the ground, neatly laid out like pickup sticks. Now what? Well, that's where the real heavy lifting begins, and by that I mean it's time for the skidder to shine. These rugged machines are the workhorses of the logging industry, built to navigate the toughest terrain imaginable. We're talking steep slopes, muddy swamps, dense undergrowth, you name it, the skidder can handle it. Imagine a tractor on steroids with massive tires that can climb over almost anything. The skidder uses these tires and a powerful winch system to drag logs out of the woods and to a landing area where they can be loaded onto trucks. It's like a giant metal ox, dragging its haul through the forest. Responsible logging operations use techniques to minimize the impact, like designated skid trails and low-impact tires. The next time you see a log truck piled high with timber, remember the skidder that hauled it out of the woods. Okay, so we've cut down the trees, dragged them out of the woods, now it's time to get them loaded onto trucks and on their way to the sawmill. And that's where the log loader comes in, a machine that's basically a giant hydraulic claw on a stick. The log loader is all about efficiency. It can pick up massive logs, some weighing several tons, and delicately place them onto the back of a waiting truck with surprising precision. It's like watching a giant play Mikado with telephone poles. These operators, let me tell you, they're artists. Without it, those logs would just be sitting there and the whole industry would grind to a halt. Alright folks, now that we've got our logs loaded up, it's time to give them a little makeover. I'm talking about the delimber, a machine that does exactly what its name suggests. It strips the branches off trees. Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal about a few branches? But trust me, when you're dealing with massive logs, those branches can be a real pain in the neck. They get in the way, they slow down processing, and they can even be dangerous if they get caught in the machinery. The delimber takes care of all that with a series of spinning blades and grapples that remove branches quickly and efficiently. Some delimbers are even mounted on tracks so they can move along the logs, stripping them bare as they go. It's like giving the log a nice close shave. Hold on to your hats, folks, because now we're talking about the big leagues, the Mac Daddy of logging equipment, the harvester. This beast of a machine is like the Swiss Army knife of the logging industry, capable of felling, delimbing, and bucking trees all in one smooth operation. Imagine a feller buncher, a delimber, and a processor all rolled into one. That's the harvester. It's got the power to cut down trees, the precision to strip off the branches, and the brains to measure and cut the logs to the perfect length. The operator sits up in a climate-controlled cab, surrounded by computers and joysticks, and can control every aspect of the harvesting process with the touch of a button. It's like playing a video game, except instead of saving Princess Peach, you're harvesting timber. If a machine can take on some of the risk and make the job a little easier, I'm all for it. Okay, we've seen the harvester in action, turning trees into logs faster than you can say timber. But what happens to those logs once they're lying on the forest floor? Well, that's where the unsung hero of the logging industry comes in: the forwarder. Now, the forwarder might not be as flashy as the harvester or as powerful as the skidder, but it's just as essential to the logging operation. Think of it as the logistical mastermind, the one who makes sure those logs get from the felling site to the roadside loading area without a hitch. The forwarder is basically a giant articulated truck with a built-in crane. It uses its crane to pick up logs and gently place them onto its bed, kind of like a lumberjack playing Tetris. Then, it carefully navigates its way through the forest, avoiding obstacles and minimizing damage to the surrounding trees. Driving a forwarder takes a special kind of skill to maneuver these machines through tight spaces, over rough terrain, and with a full load of logs on board. So far, we've focused on the machines that cut down trees and transport logs, but what about the machines that turn those logs into usable products? Well, one of the most important is the wood chipper, a machine that's as simple as it is ingenious. The wood chipper takes those big, bulky logs and turns them into small, manageable wood chips. It does this by feeding the logs into a rotating drum with a series of sharp blades that chip away at the wood, turning it into a shower of chips. It's like a giant pencil sharpener, but instead of pencils, it's eating logs. They can be used for everything from mulch and landscaping to fuel for power plants and even raw material for paper and particle board. There are small, portable models that you can tow behind a pickup truck, and then there are massive, industrial-sized behemoths that can handle entire trees in one go. Now, sometimes you don't need to haul those logs all the way to a sawmill. Sometimes it's more efficient to bring the sawmill to the logs. And that's where the portable sawmill comes in. A marvel of engineering that allows loggers to process timber right there in the woods. Imagine a miniature sawmill, small enough to be towed behind a truck, but powerful enough to handle logs up to 30 feet long. That's the portable sawmill. It's got everything you need to turn a log into usable lumber, a sawhead, a bed for the log to rest on, and a system for moving the log back and forth. The portable sawmill is a game-changer for small-scale logging operations, farmers, and even hobbyists who want to mill their own lumber. Last but not least, we come to a tool that's as essential to modern logging as the chainsaw, the grapple. This simple but effective device is basically a giant claw that's used to lift and move logs. You'll find grapples attached to everything from excavators and loaders to skidders and forwarders. They're incredibly versatile and can be used for a variety of tasks, from loading logs onto trucks to sorting and stacking lumber. And let me tell you, a good grapple is worth its weight in gold. It can make a tough job a whole lot easier and can save loggers a lot of time and effort. But just like with any other piece of heavy equipment, it's important to remember that grapples can be dangerous if they're not used properly. Well, there you have it, folks. The top 10 game-changing logging inventions. From the roar of the chainsaw to the precision of the harvester, these machines have revolutionized the way we harvest and process timber. But remember, it's not just about the machines. Behind every piece of equipment is a skilled operator, a hard-working logger who puts in long hours in tough conditions to get the job done. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content on the latest innovations in various industries. See you next time.